If you are currently watching this video on the 6th of September, that means that I am currently streaming on Twitch. So right after you finish watching this video, come over to the stream, tell me how you thought of the video, and yes, it's waffling time! Woo! I once drove a tank through Buckingham Palace so I can make a statement to the Queen telling her that her hairline is dead. Hey, as long as I got my suit and tie. So I was walking through the park trying to get some fresh air when I remembered that I left my wardrobe door open, but not the right one, the left one. And I was not able to close it. So I continued walking through the park, you know, minding my own business, you know, doing the normal stuff, picking up grass, playing Sudoku on my iPhone 3GS. When then all of a sudden, I met a friendly cat.
I need milk. Give me milk.
Now you see this cat. Now this cat told me that he had a very, very top secret that he had about Craig Davidson, so we had to go take a trip to Florida. I realized how like Florida sounds a bit like Flow Rider, the rapper or artist or singer, whatever he is. Isn't that mad? So I went to Florida and I burped 3 times and I got deported all the way back to San Francisco. San Francisco is where Craig Davidson, coincidentally, was shooting his new film Piano Rhino. Piano Rhino. It's a movie about a rhino trying to find the right piano in order for him to stand on without having it break. Now Craig Davidson isn't in the movie. He just goes onto the set and eats all of the food that they have there. For some reason, he's in the credits playing as man, but I was not able to see him at all in this 10-hour movie, and I watched the movie 3 times consecutively. Now after doing this, I got quite hungry, so I had to go eat some liquidized ice and some peri peri scorpion. I wasn't really able to finish it because it was a bit too crunchy, so I saved the rest to go home. Now when I got home, I closed my wardrobe door, but then my cat breached through my window and he told me that I had to hide. So I was a bit confused and a bit worried, and I asked him why, but he read The Great Gatsby to me and then it all made sense. So we got to Heathrow and we got on a plane to Old Mexico. I don't really like New Mexico. Now when we got there, we had to get a little help from an old friend. Ba-dum-bum-bum. If you get that reference, you're a G. So first, we had to meet Kermit the Frog, and we had to meet him in an abandoned car park. He was sitting in the corner wearing an 80s detective hat and an 80s detective coat. And he's not a detective, but he just has the 80s detective coat and the 80s detective hat. And this is what he said to us.
Welcome to my house. Here is the fridge and the bed frame made for my frozen mattress. I have very important information for you that can change the way that you live your life. The information I'm about to say to you is 2/3 of the planet is water. Do with that what you will.
I looked at him in the eye. I looked at my cat. I punched him in the cheekbone and he was just laying on the floor screaming. Arr! Now the cat thought it would be a good idea to take a ferry all the way to Northwest Africa to look at some Burberry lions. I had to go to the nearest hunting shop when I ran into George Ezra, who was buying an AK-47 for some reason. I don't know why. But I ran into him so hard that it resulted in him firing the gun into the roof, and what he fired at was a can Coke that was sellotaped to the roof. That's a can Coke. Coke of can. Balloons started flying from the sky. Cheerleaders and bands were running into the store from all 38 doors. Why do you have 38 doors in a small room? It's like a corner shop, yeah? Imagine a corner shop, but there's 38 doors around the place. That's mad. The cashier came up to shake my hand because I was the first person to hit that can of Coke in the roof with a gun. Now, George got up from the floor, I think he was on. I don't know, he was either on the floor or on the washing basket or something like that, I don't know. But he got up from the floor and started saying, hey, I shot that can up in the Coke in the floor in the roof. I should have all the credit. Now the cashier didn't like this. He doesn't like liars. Now trust me, he's a serious cashier. You do not want to mess with him. So he grabbed George by the ear, span him around at 300 miles per hour, which resulted in him doing a backflip. Now, the sound that George Ezra made was so beautiful that he made a melody out of that, and we had to go record a new song in his house. We went over to his house to record the song. Now, the song that he recorded was kind of offensive. I would repeat the lyrics. The only thing that I can say about the lyrics is that he talks about walking in a diagonal line. Now we all listened to this in the outside the booth, yeah, and we were thinking, yo, you cannot say that. You cannot say that. Do you not think this might be a bit offensive to people that walk in straight lines? And it's like, and he's like, oh, shut your ass up. He started talking like Dave Chappelle for some reason. I have no idea where he got this, playing Doritos as if they're Uno. So like, instead of like using Uno cards. He would just write 1, 2, 3, 4 on Doritos. Now the only problem with that is that people eat them. So then you got less cards. So then he had to go buy more Doritos, which doesn't make any sense, because why can't you just buy the Uno cards that are not edible and can be used to play? After he released the song, this got him put in prison for 20 milliliters in a prison. I mean, obviously he wouldn't go to his house in prison. But this wasn't any type of ordinary prison. This prison was a huge table, like legit just a table. Like there's no guards, no cells, it's just a table, but the table is endless, so it goes on forever. That way goes on forever, that way goes on forever, that way go on forever, that way go on forever, that way and that way and that way and that way. It's endless. Now, I question this because this doesn't really make any sense, because how do you put the prisoners onto the table and how do you leave? Because if it's endless, where does it begin? It doesn't. So, how did they put the prisoners on and how did they take them off? Now, I sent this to the government that was all the way to the prison. I said to the government, yo, what's wrong with this prison? Why is it so messed up? And now, I didn't know what country this prison was in. I didn't know what country this government was in, yeah? But, like, they spoke French. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna need a translator. So the translator did parkour all across the room where we had the meeting, and then it all made sense now. I understood what they were saying. It was not good. It was not good at all. Like, not at all. They did not like me at all. So they said I had to do community service for, I wanna say couch, but then I also wanna say hydraulic system. Now, this doesn't make any sense, but it kinda does. They said for community service that all I had to do was get a KFC worker to quit their job. And I was like, oh, okay. I literally already have a plan of that, because while I'm sleeping in my bed, I'm thinking, boy, I wonder how I can get a KFC worker to quit their job. So I said to the KFC worker, just go buy a Happy Meal, and when you're on your lunch break, eat that Happy Meal in front of the manager. Now he did this, yeah? This took a very unexpected turn. He did the thing that I told him to go and do, and the manager started screaming for the rest of his life. Now, nobody knew how to make him to stop screaming, but he just kept screaming. Every single hour, every single minute, every single second, he would be screaming. Sleeping, screaming. Quiet place that needs to be quiet, screaming. I mean, he'll be walking down the street, just screaming. Literally just doing that forever. Until, as it turns out, the guy that I had to make get quitted got fired because he was stealing free sauces from the KFC. So that doesn't count towards my community service. It literally did not count at all, and I'm still on it. So yes, this is the story of how I went to the park. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a subscribe, like, comment, bye.